Okay, I need to take a moment because I have really good news and it's something that I've been waiting for a really long time, and I feel like it just aligns with this new chapter and phase of my life that I've been promising myself for so long and trying to get to for so long, and I feel like so many people are in the same boat as me right now. And yeah, I'm so excited and thankful because I have a job finally. It's a seasonal temp job, but hey, I don't even care. Like, I'm counting this as a huge win. Even just getting the interview, I was so shocked because I've applied to so many places and all I got was the same old rejection email of like, due to the high number of applicants, we can't give you any feedback. So I didn't even know what I was doing wrong. Probably wasn't even doing anything wrong. Probably just didn't have enough experience, which is fine, but also it was getting ridiculous. Yeah, and then, like, it wasn't even an email, it was a phone call, and I got asked to the interview, which was a whole different thing in itself because she asked me questions over the phone, like interview questions over the phone, which I was not expecting, but I'm proud of myself that I, like, actually answered them well enough, I guess, to be offered an interview, and then I did the interview, and yeah, I smashed it, if I do say so myself. And yeah, so yeah, I'm really proud of myself. I'm really grateful and excited for this opportunity. I know a lot of people have been and maybe still are in the same boat as me. So to have this job is just a blessing, and I'm truly proud of myself for like keeping it together, even though at times I didn't, yeah. And I feel like, you know, as well, I've just been trying to do new things and say yes to things I wouldn't normally say yes to try and be in this new, confident version of myself who is open to opportunities and newness to show the universe and life or whatever. Just, you know, simply be in this energy of newness and of confidence so that I can attract more of this energy to me. And it has really just made me reflect and want to talk about feeling capable and embodying confidence even when you are constantly being rejected or things aren't working out for you, or maybe the people around you don't act like you are capable of certain things, or maybe you struggle with anxiety and low self-esteem, whatever it may be. I think a lot of the things that I've just listed can just contribute to the other things that I've just mentioned, and they can honestly just work hand in hand to make you feel like you just can't do anything or something. So I wanted to talk about confidence and stepping outside of your comfort zone and how this has helped me sort of go into this new phase of my life and help me become more confident and feel more capable of things that perhaps in the past to think, oh no, I could never do that. Because I saw a TikTok the other day of this girl talking about how to get a job, and if you're offered an interview, you've basically got the job, but the key is to be confident in the interview, and then like you've basically got it. And there were loads of comments talking about how people are always so nervous and people have anxiety and they don't know how to be confident and their minds always go blank, and how do you even be confident? And it made me think a lot about past versions of myself and how I carried myself as opposed to how I see myself now and who I'm becoming now. Don't get me wrong, I don't know these people, I don't know you, I don't know people's experiences or mental health or anything like that. These are just my experiences and how I see things and what has happened, what has helped and worked out for me. The first problem, the first issue, whatever, for me, was being too humble and being in this victim mentality. So I've always been perceived or like known as like the shy, quiet one for most of my life, especially when I was a child and especially when I was a teenager. I also developed anxiety when I was a teenager, which I still experience now pretty much on like a daily basis in one form or another, but I've learned how to live with it now and sort of cope with it in a healthy, loving way. I digress. So anyway, these ideas of me being the shy, quiet, anxious one made a lot of people perceive me in a certain way, and a lot of people would probably use those words to describe me. I already thought that about myself, but people also knowing me as those things would just reinforce those ideas that I did have about myself. So it kind of made it even harder for me to break free from that and be confident or speak up. I think as well, even now, people tend to speak for me or take charge in certain situations, which is fine, and I'm not saying they do this in a mean way. But a part of me does get frustrated. I think that's why I find so much freedom in being by myself and being alone or having these new experiences by myself. There's no one there to sort of take over or talk to me, and I can be free to sort of be this new confident version without like, you know, people who already know me and perceive me in perhaps a different light affecting the situation, if that makes sense. Which again is no one's fault. Some people just like to lead or be helpful, and if anything, I should probably talk to these people and be like, hey, I've got this. Like, I know you're trying to be helpful, but I can talk to the cashier myself, or, you know, I can introduce myself to this person by myself, kind of thing. When I'm on my own and I'm in a new situation, I can then let myself shine through and can allow myself to be in this energy that I have curated rather than someone else speaking for me or sort of molding this idea of me to others, whether they mean to or not. I think as well, because maybe shy, quiet, or anxious people, I don't know if this is for everyone, but for me, I am confident and I do love to speak, but I'm also very chill and I'm not going to fight to get my voice heard. You know what I mean? If someone else is just naturally louder and takes over or leads the group, that's fine. Like, I'll let it happen. But that can often lead to people like me feeling like they can't get a word in edgeways, or that our opinions never matter, or that we should have been louder and it's our fault. So I think, at least in my own experiences, that's where this idea of being humble or not wanting to talk about ourselves in a positive, confident way comes from, because we feel like, oh wait, actually, what do I bring to the table? Because people just talk all over me and I should just be quiet. I think as well, I used to get a lot of people to either laugh or get annoyed at me for talking too quietly, and instead of saying, oh sorry, you're a little quiet, what were you saying, I was always met with, oh, you're so quiet, speak up next time. And so again, it was like people didn't even want to hear me out, they would just always say, oh, be louder next time. I think confidence, in my experience at least, does come with age. I'm 23 now and I'm much better at being confident and being proud of who I am and knowing the value that I bring to a space or a project or a relationship. And I think that's really important, that everyone knows they do hold value. And it is difficult for some people that have had certain experiences to realise that actually, no, I do have value and I do bring a lot of cool things to the table. I think specifically, like, going into a job interview, you just have to reshape your thoughts around it. Yes, you're going to be nervous, but you're not on trial. And as cheesy and as unoriginal as it sounds, it is literally a time where you get to talk about how amazing you are and what you bring to the table. You cannot go far in life, especially in a job interview, if you want to play the humble card. You can't just sit there and go, oh, I don't really know why you should hire me. I don't think I'm really that good at this, and I'm not sure about that, and you've probably found someone better who, you know, can do this better than I can do. No. You have to be confident and proud and know your value. There was almost this mindset and belief when I was younger, and I don't know if it was society or me or both, but it seemed cool and like cooler to just be like, oh, I'm not good at anything, or, oh, you know, don't go on about yourself, especially when you're a woman. I feel like maybe growing up, the patriarchy and stuff like that made me believe that I just had to be cool and impressive by being humble. But actually, it wasn't being humble, it was just being self-deprecating and was actually extremely unhealthy. Now I'm completely the opposite. And I mean, I'm not an arsehole, okay? I am self-aware. I know I'm not perfect and I know I'm not the best at everything. It's just about balance, honestly, and having pride, walking with your head held high, but not being up your own arse about it. I also think as well, just like from my point of view, like, I was so used to just being at home by myself, applying to jobs, getting so many rejections that I was so bored with it and so fed up that like a part of my mind was like changed, and I was like, okay, I don't really care anymore. Like, I want this opportunity. When I get an opportunity, I'm just going to grab it and like use it to the best of my advantage that I can, because I'm not letting one go once I have it. It also just gave me audacity as well. Like, instead, like at the beginning of the year, I feel like I was only applying to certain jobs and things I thought I could do, and, you know, I was being really like chill about it and really like, oh, I think I could do that, and I don't know. And then towards like the latter half of the year now, I was like applying to things I don't have any experience for this, or like, oh, that I'm not sure if they're gonna want me for this, or oh, that's a long way to commute from home and all of that. But I was like, I don't care, that job sounds cool, the worst I can get is a rejection email. Like, who cares? I've had 1,000 of those already. Like, let's just move on. Yeah, so it gave me the audacity as well, and I feel like it gave me the confidence to just get myself out there and be like, you know what, the worst that can happen is that I get one of those stupid rejection emails again, and like I move on with my life. It's better than just regretting not trying and wondering like for years to come, like, oh, what would have happened if I applied to that amazing job. And yeah, in terms of as well, like the interview, like I was just so excited. I was like, I'm going to show my personality. I'm going to smile. I get to meet someone new and get out of the house. And, I get to have this new experience as well. Like, if you're so nervous, just treat it like it's a new experience and be excited for it, and just think like, where is this going to take me? What is the person I'm going to become through this new experience? So yeah, and like I say, waiting so long, it just made me so thankful for it, and I was like, F it, I deserve it, I'm amazing. I'll just be myself. No one's there to like share the limelight. I've got it all to myself. I'm going to tell this hirer, what are they called? Hiring manager. I'm going to tell this person how amazing I am and why they should hire me. The more you say yes to things and the more you get outside of your comfort zone, it will just help you grow and transform into like this person who like, actually I can do things and I am capable of doing these things, and it will always make the next big scary thing a little bit easier because you've already done that other big scary thing. So you can do this big scary thing. At least that's what I always tell myself. I had this opportunity like a month before I got the phone call for the interview. And it was like part-time unpaid work for this committee that was to do with something that I love and I'm very interested in. And I didn't really seek this opportunity out. It kind of just like fell into my lap, and I was like, you know what, I'll just take it. Like, I'll say yes. It's a new thing for me to do. I'm bored out of my mind. I can meet new people, cool. Like, it's, a new opportunity to do some like organizational work and meet new people. I do like little web page updates, and once a month I have to go to a meeting and stand in front of people and announce things. So a bit of public speaking, which, I used to be like, oh, I'm not worthy of the limelight, or no, I can't stand in front of people, and and now I just use it as like a social experiment, but like on myself kind of thing. Like, I just observe myself. I observe how I feel and, where this might go for me and who I might become and where is this leading me and what kind of person am I becoming through doing this, and just saying yes to these things, having these new experiences, also having fun. Like, you're allowed to, even though you're anxious, you're still allowed to have fun. You're still allowed to be proud of yourself, you know what I mean? And every time you do something that maybe you tell yourself you couldn't do, your personality shifts from I can't do it to actually I did do it, so I can do it again. You're gonna grow so much by just trying things out. And again, having this sort of like distance from it and that curiosity and just thinking like, who am I going to become through doing this? Where is this going to lead me? How is this going to make me feel? What will it be like? Even if you do it and, maybe you stumble on your words or you trip up or you feel like it's really embarrassing or you feel like you did a bad job, you still said yes to a new thing that was scary. And even though you were really anxious or really nervous, you still did it anyway. And I feel like that's such a huge achievement that we should all be proud of ourselves for doing stuff like that. I feel like especially when you experience anxiety, it can make you feel so incapable of a lot of the time, because I used to have these thoughts and feelings, and I still sometimes do now, where like, anything can set off anxiety, like walking out the door or like a noise or literally nothing. Like, you could be sitting there and all of a sudden this wave of panic could hit you. And, I used to beat myself up so much, be like, oh, why am I like this? Like, why can't I be normal? This sucks. Like, I do this normal thing that everyone else does, but for some reason it makes me anxious. This could be like, ordering coffee or ordering food or like walking down the street or literally just nothing at all. And yeah, I used to like really beat myself up about it and make myself feel so incapable, because I'm like, oh, I can't do anything, I'm incapable of anything because I'm anxious. And now I'm like, actually no, I did the thing. Yes, I was anxious, but I did it anyway, so now it's even more of an achievement, and now I'm that little bit more proud of myself for doing it. It's like that first meeting I went to, and I had to do that little bit of public speaking, and I was like terrified. I was so anxious. Like 2 days before, I was so nauseous I couldn't eat because I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. And like I kept thinking like I could just cancel, I could just not show up, I could just not do it. And then I did it anyway, and I kept myself calm, and I did it, and I spoke in front of people, and it was great. And I was like, wow, why was I so scared about that? Again, like with that interview, I was getting really, really anxious. It was getting in my head. And at one point I was like, oh, I could just not show up. And I was like, okay, you've been wanting this for literally the whole year, this so far, and you're not going to F it up just because you're a little bit nervous. Come on. Like we're anxious, but we can also be excited about this. Come on. And every time you do something new, you're going to feel more and more capable of doing that other new thing. I also think as well, I spoke about this in another one of my videos, so I'm going to keep it brief, but it's this idea of like you can only feel one thing, or you can only feel a negative emotion or only a positive emotion. You can't feel both, and it's like that is BS. I get so anxious all the time, but I also get so excited, and I feel like we need to lean into that more and lean into that excitement. I saw this TikTok of this girl being like, I'm so anxious, but I'm also so excited, but like how can I be excited if I'm anxious? Like it doesn't make sense. I have to pick one, like I can't be both. And I was like, bestie, why can't you be both? Like I get so anxious about things because apparently my body just, goes into a state of fight or flight because it can't tell the difference between trying a new thing and swimming in a pool with a great white. But I also love trying new things, and I get really excited by opportunities. So again, it's that achievement of like, you know what, I did this amazing new thing, and even though I was anxious, I didn't let it stop me from trying this new cool thing. And yes, I was anxious, yes, I was nervous, but I was also really, really excited. And I think as well, that's the main thing. It's like you've got to feel the excitement and notice the excitement and be like, why am I even doing this thing in the first place? I'm doing it because I want to grow, I want to learn, I deserve this amazing opportunity, and I'm gonna smash it even though I'm anxious. Also, just quickly, side note, talking about like new things and stepping outside of my comfort zone, I watched 3 of the Scream films. I'm not a horror girly. I want to be a horror girly so bad, but I'm such a crybaby, I can't do horror. But I love the Scream films. Oh my god, I watched the first 3 this week, and I'm absolutely in love with them. I love them so much. They're just so good. I think my favourite Scream is Scream 2, just because it's so funny and it has so many like quotable lines, and I just love it so much. And it's, for some reason, it's so comforting to me, but all of them are comforting. And yeah, I love them so much, even though, so I feel like really cool and really hot right now, because I feel like everyone is like, oh, if you love Scream, you're hot. And I'm like, well, I love Scream, so like I must be hot now. And I feel so cool as well. I also told my best friend about it. I was like, oh, I watched like the Scream films and I really love them. And she was like, oh, I thought you had already. Like I feel like you would have loved them, and I thought you already did. Like they're so your thing. And I don't know, I feel like that's the biggest compliment ever, is when you love something so much and then your best friend is like, oh yeah, like that's totally your thing, because you're like, thank you. Thank you for knowing me and thinking that I'm a cool hot person because I like cool hot people things. And yeah, I'm gonna go now and leave you to ponder the absolute beauty and wisdom that I've bestowed upon you.